Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of February 23rd through the 27th. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have a gap recap from February 16th through the 20th, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is NEO. We ended the week at 507, up 2.84%. Last week, this was at the bottom of the leaderboard, and this week we are at the top, so that is nice to see the reversal. This is where we ended. To the north side takes us back to an area we've been at 2 standard deviations, and we're very close to that at 507, and that would be at 509. Above that, 516, and at 4 standard deviations, $5.22. To the south side, that is roughly 496. I will mark this in blue. Oops, wrong one. There we go. It's very close to this line, which is a mark that I made on Tuesday the 17th for that week. I actually did the video, I think, on Sunday. But because we're so close, we're retracing. I'm just going to delete that. Ignore all the horizontal lines except for this one. This is the most current one. One day I'll delete the rest, but until it interferes with my chart, then I leave it alone. And then you can see where we've been and where we possibly could be headed. 484 at -2 standard deviations, another level of support, a potential buy-in area, a potential stop loss area, as well as this line, 478 and 472. Looking left, from this week to this line, the beginning of the week till the end of the line, we started here. And you know what? I will just delete this so you can see it a little bit better. We went up, slammed down. This is support, bounced off of that, and we've been just grinding along this middle of the trend line here. And this is your buy signal as well as down here. Now, this gap is still in play for the upcoming week. That will take us down to 473. Oops, grabbed the wrong area. And then we have this gap that will take us down to 444, still in play for the upcoming week. But we are moving farther, away from that gap closure. Right, and looking at your sell signals, you're clear. This begins your sell signal. Then we got up to this line, got slammed down. That's your sell signal, a sell signal, a sell signal. All along here, you want to push it to the outer edge and then your other outlier up here. And never expect price to go up to 4 standard deviations. That's not normal. It stays within 2 standard deviations and -2 all day long because the calculations change off of the linear. All right, what else? This line, we can see acted as support here. This also acted as the support line here, here. So let me put this line back. Friday, right there. All right, that is a look at NEO. Oh, one other thing. Since this line, this gap already closed, this box right here, there's another one that will take us to 551 for a retracement. And it does not appear that it will close this coming week. No way. But maybe the following one it will touch, or 2 weeks from now. And the 1-year price target for NEO used to be 588. I've already marked that out in the white line from a long time ago. And now it's 681, which represents a 34.33% return. Previously, it was 720, and that's revised downward. But that's the target right here. It's going to be weeks and weeks to hit that. But at least we have something to look forward to. The next one is Tsly. This is Tsly on the 5-minute time frame. We ended the week at 33.16. What is happening? We're still in a downward channel. Resistance takes us back to last week's line, 33.62-ish. Above that, 33.89, and down the road, 34.20. The middle of the trend is here. Last week it was here at 30, well, we were at 33.77, but this was the trend line, the baseline, and now we're edging downward. Another level of support, buy-in, 32.49, stop loss, 32.21, and no way, 31.91 that we'll get there, I don't think on Monday, but perhaps down the road. And then looking left, we filled a big gap here. We got slammed down. Oh wait, it did not fill. Oh, that's something we can look forward to. This is an opportunity gap right there. That will take us to roughly 33.40. We could definitely hit that on Monday. And then some other baby gaps, which I don't want to bother with. But here's your sell signal right there. And if you don't want to see gaps, so you just want to play just the candles, there we go. I've erased all of the holes, the gaps. And look, very close to this. We don't always hit it because I've set mine. This is not a factory setting. I make my own tweaks. Your clear support line and a bounce. Could it have fallen more? Yeah, and then bounce? Sure. But I feel like we are not going down as strong as we have been. It's kind of slowly going down. So I think there's going to be a reversal soon. And what else? Okay, we have gaps. That's closed. All right, I think that is it for now. Nike is the next one. Ooh, look at this. Just before I do the targets, your spidey senses should have gone off, and this was your clear sell signal. Look at that, all ripped all the way up, and then gave it back because that's what happens. People took their profits and they ran, they locked in, and they will leave, and they did. All right, 60. Let me just delete this line just so I can see this better. Okay, we're right here, the middle of the trend. Basically, I'll just mark it out and then delete the other one. So this is the new middle of the trend line, and this was an old one that I've already marked out. I marked that out for the week of Monday the 26th, but we're basically back to that area. I'll just delete it. Don't need it. I don't need any of these horizontal lines. It just shows you where I've tracked, where we could be headed, where we were, and where we've reversed course. Okay, to the north side, resistance, 66.85. I should just stop right there. But should we wick up, like I always talk about, and then get slammed down though, 67.60? I don't know if we're going to get a repeat of this so soon. 68.34. And then here's your clear buy signal. And this is now 63.92, 63.13, and 62.44. Let's put the line back. Looking left, this gap is still in play. That's if you like to go short down the road, 61.17. Resistance, sell off. Going down, this line is support. I would have bought in possibly, but then look, we fell some more. You can't always have it your way. This isn't, what is it? Who have it your way? Is that, I don't even know the logo. I can't remember what business uses that logo or tagline. Okay. And that's your support line. That's your support line. And then off to the races. The middle of the trend is where we like to rest. And look at that. We rested right in the middle of the trend line. Price has to rip through this line to get to the upside or to slice through the bottom. But the equilibrium is right here. For now, anyway. Every day it changes. All right. What else? Yeah, look at how long I've tracked this. Forever, it seems. All right. Let's go to the next one before my recording dies. Boeing. Let's do this one fast. Option R. $234.46, $235.96, $237.29. The middle of the trend is now $231.54, sorry, right here. Very close to this line. Look, we rested right on that line. And that I drew out for the week of Monday, January 12th. And we're so close, I'm just going to get rid of it. I don't need it. There we go. And to the south side, support 228.64, 227.23. There's a gap closure there. And let me move this out of the way. I can't see. My hands are freezing. I was just outside hanging with my neighbors. 225.75. For the past week, we started at 242.96, stepping it down to 232. But here we are. We went up to the middle of the trend. That's resistance, got slammed down. This line acted as support, which is this gap closed right there. So that was an expected move down to 239.40. Congrats if you went short and made some money. Okay. I made 11 trades this past week, buys and sells. And for all of my sells, thank goodness, knock on wood, I didn't lose any money. I was thrilled about that. And made money. All right. So here's your clear sell signal, your clear sell signal. This acted as support and it bounced off of that basically. The wick went down a little further and then bounced. Your clear buy line here, then another second opportunity down here. And what else? There's that gap closure down to this red line, 227.39. I think we will definitely, yeah, we could touch it this week, I think, if we continue our path downward. And then we have tons of gaps down here that I have not extended. These are expected moves. All right, it's been a while since I cleaned up the chart. There, those are all the gaps to the downside for retracement, potential buy-in area if you're trying to get in. Next up is Rivn, last one. Let's blaze through this before my computer dies. All right, 15.27. Let me hit option R. The middle of the trend line, baseline consolidation going sideways, 15.33. This gap closes out at roughly 15.54, 15.61, 15.88-ish. And then we have this one up to 16.11. Speaking of 88, a lucky number. Happy Chinese New Year. I should just say Asian New Year. All right, and this line is now the middle of the trend. Okay, this line is no longer, well, it's so close to where I marked out previously at 1475 on, not 1475, I'm sorry, 1482, the week of Monday, February the 2nd. Because I'm so close to that line, let's delete it. This white line is a price target that we've already hit, and now we're just giving it all back. 1424, 1399, and 1370 for another buy-in area down the road. And if you think that's a cheap area to get in, well, guess what? This big matzo ball right here, okay? That will take you down to 1403. And then this one will take you down to 1254. These are all areas I've talked about in the past. We're just getting closer to them. So be aware of that. But we have some potential upside as well, 1612. And then whenever we reverse course, 1882, but we're not there. But I went to check out the forum shops at Caesar's Palace, and they had the Chinese symbol of a snake, and it dawned on me, like, why am I looking at a snake? It's the year of the fire horse. They were so cheap, Caesar's Palace, that they dragged out last year's last year's snake, and then put it back this year. And they charge people for parking, the locals for parking now. It's been many, many years since they've done that, but yet they can't afford to put out a horse. It cracks me up. Okay, I digress. I'm going to go check out the Formula One arcade soon. And I'm going to do a couple of casino tickers soon as well. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at NIO, Tsly, Nike, Boeing, and Rivn. I cannot believe this is the 116th weekly Gap and Go that I've done. I started tracking, I think, like 25, and have whittled it down to these 5 until they hit the targets that I've talked about, or when I started covering them, then I'll stop this segment. All right, have a great trading week.